Coco Gauff faces one of the most important moments in her career so far away from the cameras. Coco Gauff was knocked out of the US Open by Naomi Osaka in the fourth round. Gauff sent a message to her fans after losing in straight sets to the rejuvenated Osaka, and she has some work to do in order to perfect her game. Tracy Austin has delivered advice to Gauff to try to get her on the straight and narrow, although it has to be said that 2025 has seen some positives. Gauff beat Aryna Sabalenka to win the French Open, but then made a first-round exit at Wimbledon just a few weeks later. Gauff made a claim about Sabalenka after that final, with the Belarusian being pretty disrespectful to the champion. American player Gauff made some mistakes before this year's US Open, and ahead of the next tournament, this feels like a really big time for the star. An important aspect of going out relatively early at the US Open for Gauff is that she has been able to sneak out of the spotlight. Gauff was praised for her classy comments to Osaka, and clearly, she's one of the more likable players on tour for the way she remains professional even in defeat. The 21-year-old has been able to shut herself away from the usual media razzmatazz that follows her around and simply iron out the issues in her game. More tennis news. Gauff has already stated she plans to work on her game ahead of the Asia swing, and this particular period of work could define the next steps in her entire career. Gauff has to work on service flaws. Steve Johnson has expressed concerns about Gauff's inconsistent serve, and that is a fair reservation among her critics. Gauff is tantalizingly close to becoming a dominant force in tennis, but without her serve being rectified, she has absolutely no chance to kick on and win more major titles. At 21, there is still bags of time for Gauff to iron out the imperfections and become as consistent as someone like Sabalenka, but her game needs to become more complete. Gauff's service game has been a real issue for far too long, and if it's not rectified right now, it could be something that turns out to impact her across her entire career. Under the blinding lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium or the roaring crowds of Wimbledon, Coco Gauff has danced with greatness. Her story is often told through televised triumphs, press room soundbites, and headline-grabbing rallies. But the true turning points of champions, those transformative, soul-shaping moments, rarely happen under the spotlight. Some of the most important steps in an athlete's journey are taken far from the cameras. This is one of those moments. It's a quiet morning in a small training facility tucked away in Europe, far from the buzz of the US Open or the prestige of Roland Garros. No fans, no photographers, just the rhythmic thwack of tennis balls hitting strings, and the low hum of Coco's breath as she moves with purpose across the court. She's 21 now. Still young, but not new. No longer the teenager who burst onto the scene with fearless energy, but a woman who has borne the weight of expectation, success, and scrutiny. She's won big, yes, but she's also lost and learned. The sheen of novelty has faded. Now, it's about endurance, about evolution. She pauses after a long rally, sweat dripping from her brow, eyes focused not on her coach, but inward. This isn't just another drill. This is recalibration, growth, reckoning. Last season had its highs, titles, endorsements, top-tier matches. But it also carried a haunting whisper. Is this enough? Is this my peak? Or am I only just beginning? Questions like these don't echo in the locker room. They echo in the mind, in hotel rooms at 2 a.m., or while lacing up your shoes before another morning session. And that's where Coco stands now. Not in crisis, but at a quiet crossroads. The cameras aren't watching, but this might be the most crucial moment of her career. The world of tennis is often romanticized as a journey of champions rising through pure talent and heart. But the truth is, greatness is forged in repetition, in invisible labor. It's in how you respond when the stands are empty, when there's no match to win, no trophy to hold, just you, the racket, and the belief that you can be better. Coco Gauff has always been more than just a phenom. She carries a consciousness with her, a weight of representation, of inspiration, of responsibility. But right now, in this moment, she isn't thinking about any of that. This is about the game. About her serve, her backhand, her footwork. She's breaking it all down. Rebuilding. Her team has stripped things back. No distractions. Just honesty. They've been reviewing footage, analyzing technique, digging deep into both physical and mental strategy. They're not trying to make her someone else. They're helping her find her most authentic game. The one that doesn't just survive in big moments, but defines them. And perhaps, more importantly, Coco is learning to trust herself again. Trust not just in her skills, but in her instincts. Because there's a subtle difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. The greats know the line. And Coco, now more seasoned, is starting to understand it too. There's a journal in her bag. Handwritten notes, reflections, quotes that ground her. One page reads, "My power isn't in what others see. It's in what I decide to become when no one's watching." This isn't a social media caption. This is her truth. She's learning to love the grind again. Not because of what it leads to, but because of what it reveals. The late-night workouts, the silent corrections, the moments where she hits the same shot 50 times until it finally feels right. Not perfect, just true. Her coach watches quietly. No applause. No drama. Just a nod. "She's close," he says to an assistant. Closer than she's ever been. Not to a title, but to herself. Later that evening, Coco walks alone through a nearby park. No hoodie. No entourage. Just her. A child spots her and waves. She smiles and waves back. The child doesn't scream or run over. It's not that kind of moment. And Coco appreciates that. For once, she doesn't have to perform. She sits on a bench and closes her eyes. She thinks of Serena, of Venus, of the legacy she's been trusted to extend, but also of her own unique path. She doesn't want to be the next anyone anymore. She wants to be the first Coco. The pressure is still there. The expectations haven't disappeared, but the fear of them is fading. She's realizing something vital. Pressure is proof that the moment matters. And if it matters, it deserves her full self, not the filtered version, not the perfect player, but the real one. In the weeks that follow, no articles will be written about these days. No highlight reels will capture them. But in time, when she lifts another trophy, or fights back from the edge in a fifth-set thriller, she'll remember this. The morning drills, the quiet nights, the decision to show up when no one was watching. Because this was the turning point. Not a final. Not a medal. Not a viral rally. Just a choice. To grow. To evolve. To believe in herself again. Far from the cameras, Coco Gauff just took the biggest step of her career. And no one saw it but her. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.